Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lamade.
The future is now. The future is now. The future is now.
So, I'm in a good mood today. I took myself out of London. I'm in a village in Portsmouth and I've been here all week just resting and recuperating, and it's really changed my whole mood, my outlook on life, and I highly recommend you doing so. Like, even if you just book yourself a hotel or Airbnb for a couple days, a weekend, just get out of your house because I think we all need it. That is not the point of today's discussion. The point of today's discussion is about boundaries, and I'm titling this "A Boundaryless Life is a Dangerous Life" because it is. When I speak about boundaries and healthy boundaries, what I mean is the way others respond to you or treat you as a result of what you've made known or clear or acceptable. So let me speak about myself here and how I've come to know that boundaries are so important. So basically at uni, I didn't have boundaries. Like, I thought I did, but my boundaries weren't healthy, nor were they set. So I just used to do what I liked, or do what I felt like, without considering how it will affect other people, or how my behaviour will affect others, or I will put myself out there at the detriment of my own stability, and I will try to be there for friends, but then I don't have what they require, but I'm still like trying to be there, and it was just, oh mate, it was a chore. I just feel like clear boundaries can prevent a lot of mishaps, a lot of pain, and can just avoid burnout. Setting personal boundaries will allow you to know what your limits are, but also allow others to know what their limits towards you are as well. So they will then know. So should they cross those boundaries or the limits set, that way you're able to address it and address it clearly. So here are some ways for you to set better personal boundaries with yourself and others. So you need to define what your boundaries are, identify what boundaries you want, so identify desirable boundaries and make it known in your head. Write it down if you can, and know in your heart what your boundaries are. So start with defining it. Then communicate as well. Communicate it to other people. Say what those boundaries are, what you need from the other person to make sure they don't pass those boundaries. Keep it simple. You don't need to over explain yourself. You don't need to say, oh no, because like, just keep it simple. State what your boundaries are, but definitely don't over explain, because then you kind of feel as if you're doing something wrong, and honestly babe, you're really not. Set the consequences. So like, not strict, but like, if you cross my boundaries you have to send me £50. None of that, but make it known why those boundaries are in place and why they're important, and what someone crossing those boundaries will mean to you, because high key, someone crossing your boundaries that you set is a form of disrespect, in my opinion. Sometimes it can be a mistake if you've not communicated what your boundaries are, or if you haven't explained why your boundaries are in place and what is needed from the other person. But if you've done all the things I said before, there's no real reason for people to cross your boundaries, especially if you yourself like stick to your boundaries. So yeah, make it known what the consequences will be, in the sense of like why it's important to you and how it can affect your relationship with whoever moving forward. And boundaries, by the way, are not just for romantic relationships or whatever. It's for friendships, it's for work relationships, it's for any form of relationships that will be formed, because you need boundaries in life. Like, genuinely, a boundaryless life is a dangerous life. I can't emphasize it enough. Like, bro, when I think of boundaries, I think in terms of like setting them, I think you need to start with yourself, build a rapport with yourself, and keeping to your own boundaries, so that way when it comes to you interacting with people from the outside world, they know that, not gonna lie, they can't really cross my boundaries because she keeps her boundaries to herself as well. Like, she doesn't cross her own boundaries, so who am I to now come and try to cross her own boundaries? Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't work and it wouldn't really make much sense. So I think you setting boundaries with yourself is the first way to start. If you say you're going to do something, then do it. Like, say what you mean and mean what you say. It's very easy for you to say one thing and then do another, or to say one thing and just don't do it. But then I feel as if when interacting with other people, it's quite hard for them to know does she really mean this if you don't always say what you mean, or you say something and do something else. When you set healthy boundaries with yourself, and when you keep to your own boundaries, and when you're just very true to your word, I think it makes it easier to keep healthy boundaries with others as well. Generally, in the most respectful way, think before you speak. I find that on social media, a lot of people are oversharers, and I think I've said it on my channel before, but if I haven't, I'll say it again. Like, there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than an oversharer. Like, the two things I would hate to be in life is an oversharer and an arrogant person. Like, I can't stand oversharers. Like, bro, don't you have a journal? Like, what the heck? Like, what the heck? Why are you telling us this? So think before you speak. When you're saying it to the world, think, can I just put this in my journal? Think, can I just send this to my WhatsApp group chat? Like, do I actually have to tell the world this? And that way you're setting boundaries in terms of what you let people know about you, or what information that is precious to you give out to the world. Another way for you to set good boundaries is just learn to say no. Like, let's go. In fact, let's do practice now. Just learn to say no. No. No, thank you. No. I'd rather not. No. Thank you, but no. I don't have the ability to do this at this present moment. Or, no, I don't really want to do this. Thanks though. No. 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 Like, no. Just no. Just like, learn to say no. Do I have a problem? No, I don't think I have a problem with saying no. I have a problem with saying no to the things I do want to do, but I might not have the capacity to do, or the strength. And I'm learning to say no more. So when I'm saying all these things, babe, like, when I'm saying all these things, know that I'm not just speaking from like my high horse. Like, bro, I'm in the gutter with you guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, I too am trying to make sure that my boundaries are strong, they are airtight, and I'm just always like making sure I'm sticking to the boundaries I've set. Can't lie, no should be your most used word, because it saves you from a lot of trouble. When I've said no, either to go into motives, to doing a task that I had no interest in doing, just saying no, it's just saved me a lot of hassle, it's saved me a lot of time, a lot of mental space, and it's just it saved me a lot of trouble, like, and stopped me from getting into dumb situations. The next point in terms of setting good and healthy boundaries is know your capacity. Know when it's getting too much, make it known, communicate it again, but you need to know your capacity, because if not, you're going to burn out and it's just going to be a misery for every single person. Like, just know your capacity and make sure you don't overextend yourself past that point. Like, I can tell when I'm pushing it with my capacity, and it's just like, babe, you better simmer, or like, babe, you better reel it back in, gotta chill out, because you're stretching it right now and you're gonna feel it if you don't calm down. And that is with everything, really. I think another, like, a very key practical way of setting good boundaries and communicating to this others is have like set times. So in uni, like, I used to get myself in quite a lot of like higgy situations, and I was very confused as to how I got here, but it's because I didn't have boundaries, really, and like, or boundaries I didn't communicate to other people, and I'll just be like, what the heck is going on? So over time, I said that, like, I'm not going to speak to people. Initially it was like, I'm not going to speak to boys and men or whatever after 12 o'clock, 12 midnight, because what do you have to speak about, bro? Like, if that can't wait till the morning. Like, you tell me. But now in general, like, I try not to speak to people after 10 p.m. Like, it can wait till tomorrow. I'm trying to sleep early and wake up early anyway, so by me setting that boundaries, like if you want to really catch me, unless there's an emergency, do it before 10. That's a lot of hours. Like I'm up from like 7, so between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. that's a lot of time for you to try to speak to me. Until then, we'll try again the next day. So having set times can really help you with setting good boundaries, and people know how to keep to it. So this is a term that keeps, couple terms, two main terms that stays in my mind when I think about things like this is put on your own mask first and never give from an empty cup. So when I speak about put on your mask first, so if you've been on a plane, a lot of times they speak about if in a case of emergency and you have like a child or whatever, put on your own mask first before you try to help somebody else. And that applies in life and in terms of boundaries. Like you can't help people if you are in the gutter. Like in those moments you probably need the help. But when I say put on your own mask first, make sure you're good and then try to help other people. Make sure that like you've stuck to what you said you're gonna do. You've put your own mental health first, your physical health first, and then help others. And that kind of goes with the same of like you can't give from an empty cup. So I found that I was always drained and like exhausted trying to be a good friend, a counselor for this person, and this and a that. And I was like, bro, I can't come and die, you know? So over time, I learned that I can only give from a place of overflow, because if not, I will run dry and people take. And unless you have good boundaries, they will take until there's nothing else to take, and then they'll find another person to leech off. Anything I give, I'm okay with if they weren't to reciprocate energy, because it's from a place of overflow anyways. So when I think about it, it's like a cup and a tea and a saucer. It's like a teacup and a saucer. So when someone's pouring tea into it, I'm not giving from the cup itself, I'm giving from the saucer. And the more I get poured into by like the Holy Spirit, by friends, the more that can go into the saucer. So it goes back to my original point that put on your own mask first. So I'm making sure I'm good spiritually, mentally, financially, whatever, so then I can actually help others and help them well. I hope this video is doing what I feel about boundaries justice, because genuinely I just feel as if people were to have better boundaries, they would avoid so many higgy situations. Like, please check your boundaries today, make it better. Like, yeah, ask yourself as well, are there any boundaries that I've let slip, that I haven't been keeping to? Are there any boundaries I need to revisit? Is anything I need to add to make sure my boundaries are better? Like, let's have a conversation about it. What boundaries do you find help you? What can be done? What can you do more? Like I said, I started doing set times and I try to stick to it. I think it's just necessary, because the alternative is burnout, it's anger, it's resentment. You feel disrespected. As you reflect on the end of November, I know it might have been a long month or a hard month. Like it was quite a hard month for me. Because of second lockdown, but as we go into December, I pray that it will just be a month of joy and gladness. But I also pray that it'll be a month where you look after yourself and you put yourself first and put on your mask first. Have a great week, my beautiful people. Like, have a great week. I really wish a great week for you all. And take care of yourself, set good boundaries, and go into the world and fly. That's it really. I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye. Set good boundaries. Set good boundaries. Set good boundaries. I'm gonna set good boundaries.